All right, welcome. Today we are diving into one of the oldest brainbusters in all of philosophy, but we're going to look at it through a completely new lens. We're going to explore this idea that the God paradox isn't a theological problem at all. Nope, it's a technical one, a glitch, you could say, in our standard mental operating system. So let's get into it.
And here it is, the classic, the big one, the question of omnipotence. You know how it goes. If you say yes, well, he's not all-powerful because he can't lift the stone. And if you say no, he's still not all-powerful because he can't create it. It's this perfect little logic loop, a philosophical trap that has seriously stumped thinkers for centuries. But what if the trap isn't in the answer? What if it's in the question itself? You see, according to the source material we're digging into today, this question is really just a symptom of a much deeper issue. It points to a fundamental bug in how our logic tries to process reality, what the framework calls the rational thinking trap. So the failure isn't in God, it's a limitation in our own mental software.
So here's our roadmap for today. First, we're going to diagnose that glitch in our thinking. Then, we'll look at the limits of logic itself before installing a completely new operating system called absolute divine governance. From there, we'll see how this new system just solves the old paradoxes, introduces a kind of physics of purpose, and ultimately moves this whole conversation way beyond a simple parlor game. Okay, section 1, a glitch in thinking. So, what is this glitch really? Well, the framework we're exploring, Absolute Divine Governance, or ADG, argues that these paradoxes pop up when we use the wrong tool for the job. We're trying to measure a divine system with a limited ruler of human logic. And, well, our ruler just isn't long enough.
And this slide really gets to the heart of it. What is rational thinking, or RT? The framework isn't saying RT is bad. I mean, it's incredible for building bridges in computers. But it's incomplete. It only works with existing knowledge. It can't generate answers for the big why questions, like what's the purpose of the universe? So when we try to use it to define an absolute governor, it's kind of like asking a calculator to write a poem. It's a fundamental category error. So if our logic is the wrong tool, why does it keep failing us on these big questions? In section 2, we'll see that the root of this glitch is a basic but huge confusion our minds make between two very different kinds of truth. This slide illustrates that distinction perfectly. On one side, you have al-Sidq. Think of it as surface-level facts, the physical world. It's like the peel of an orange. It's real, you can see it, but it's not the point. On the other side is al-Haq, the underlying operational truth, the source code, the juice inside the orange. Philosophical debates get stuck because they just endlessly analyze the peel, arguing about its color and texture without ever getting to the juice.
So, if our current OS is buggy, what's the upgrade? This brings us to section 3. Installing the Absolute Divine Governance Framework. And listen, this isn't just a patch. It's a completely new operating system that redefines the very core components of reality.
Okay, this is the crucial shift the ADG framework makes. Allah is not presented as a person with human-like attributes, like strength or the ability to lift things. Instead, it's defined as a self-executing governance system, the fundamental protocol that runs the entire universe. And suddenly, asking if the system can lift a stone becomes as nonsensical as asking if the internet can get tired.
And with that, the universe itself gets a brand new definition. It's not just some vast random expanse of matter. In this model, it's a Nuf-centric incubator, a purpose-built simulation or learning environment designed specifically for the development of each conscious self, or Nufs. Everything in it's all part of the curriculum. And, every well-designed system has rules. Here, that's called the deen, or the established order. And the source is super clear about this. This isn't religion in the way we usually think about it. It's the moral physics of the simulation, the unchangeable protocols that govern everything, broken down into 10 core elements, like roles, rules of engagement, and procedures. So instead of these vague omni-attributes like omnipotence, the system has clear functional roles that describe what it does. Rob is the protocol that sustains and evolves things. Malik is the protocol that ensures total sovereignty over the system. And Ilah is the protocol that serves as the ultimate authority you rely on. It's a huge shift from being to doing something. All right, section 4. We've installed the new OS. Now let's reboot and see if it can handle those old paradoxes that caused our previous system to just crash and burn. The problem of evil is always a big one, right? But in this model, evil isn't a thing that the governance system creates. It's a protocol violation output.
Think of it like a system-generated error message. A conscious agent, a nafs, is given a meaningful choice within the rules of the game. When it chooses to violate those rules, the system automatically generates a consequence. And that consequence is what we experience as suffering. It's not a monster, it's just a result.
So what about a devil or some cosmic adversary? The ADG framework reframes this concept entirely. Resistance, which is called Iblis or Shaitan in the source texts, isn't a bug or a rival power. It's a feature. It's the necessary friction in the system, kind of like the resistance you need at the gym for your muscles to grow. Without this cosmic stress test, there's just no development.
Now for section 5. And this is where it gets really fascinating. The source argues this governance model isn't just a philosophy, it's a computable system with its own laws, almost like physics. So instead of Einstein's E equals mc squared, which calculates physical energy, the ADG framework proposes its own master equation, and this one calculates moral value, or essence. It's E equals U times D squared. Let's break that down. U is the universe. That's all the raw material you're given, your time, your health, everything. D is for Dean, the system's rules. And E is the essence, the eternal value you produce. Now, the crucial part is that D is squared. This means that aligning your actions with the system's rules doesn't just add to your value, it multiplies it exponentially. A small improvement in alignment creates this massive output, which shows that raw resources alone are pretty much worthless without the right protocol. So, what is this whole system trying to maximize? It's not GDP, not profit, not power. The key performance indicator is CDEV, the Network Development Coefficient. The entire purpose of this cosmic incubator is to increase the cognitive and moral development score of its users, just by getting them to align with the system's protocols. And for our final section, let's zoom out a bit. Why does this all feel so different from traditional theology? Well, the framework argues that we've been reading the instruction manual all wrong. The argument here is bold, no doubt. It claims that the source text, the Quran, was never meant to be a book of mystical philosophy. It was a technical governance manual. But over time, it got spiritualized, covered in these mystical adornments that created the very confusion and paradoxes we started with. This framework is basically an attempt to strip all that away and read it as a technical document again. So how do you even test a model like this? Not with clever paradoxes. The ADG framework proposes something called the Al-Fil filter. The test isn't, is this logically sound? Instead, it asks, does this idea produce real operational value? An idea that has no connection to operational truth is called feeble-minded because it's guaranteed to lead to systemic loss. It's an entirely pragmatic, results-based test. This quote from the source material just perfectly captures the entire paradigm shift. Rational thinking tech, our current system, is obsessed with optimizing for easily measurable things like profit. Governance technology, on the other hand, is designed to optimize for something completely different, what we are capable of becoming. It's a profound shift from extraction to development. And that leaves us with one final, pretty provocative question. We've spent millennia treating ethics and morality as a branch of philosophy, a matter of opinion, debate, abstract principles. But what if we've had it in the wrong category this whole time? What if morality has its own immutable laws, its own constants, its own equations? What if morality isn't philosophy, but physics?